I have done it before, but your meeting is being live streamed. By staying in this meeting, you consent to, got it, to being live streamed. Okay. Ooh, I should tweet.
We are live.
I've done it before, but your meeting is being live streamed. Like there's a delay. Consent to, got it. Okay, this is weird. I'm gonna have to silence it because I can hear.
We are live.
I've done it before, but okay, yeah, that is super weird. That we're live. Hello, people. Okay,
hey, everybody.
Like, basically, if you want to talk to us, like, do that little thingy on the thing of the side with the chat.
Yeah, on the chat YouTube video. Got it. Right.
Okay, here, let me tweet people and tell them to come watch me.
So I guess I should have opened up YouTube. Would that be helpful?
It's like got a little bit of a time delay, like a couple second time delay. So it's like echoing and it seems kind of, yes, I'm live. There's like Fat Elvis Jr. says you're live, and Felipe goes, hello. We got hello.
Hey.
Hello. And there's some other people. Hi. Okay. So hi, everybody.
Hey.
Good evening. Okay. So what me and Danielle are going to talk about now is we're going to talk about, we just like, maybe this has been going on longer than I think, but like all of a sudden, like in my vortex of reality, it's like all this like AI stuff is coming around. So like, all right, tell me how you got into the AI bandwagon like this.
Well, it hasn't really been around that long, at least in this degree with this AI, the open chat AI, the open AI, that chat GPT. It's so about a month ago, my manager for my company was like, oh, check out this app. And it was the playground version of this app. And I'm a coach for IT professionals who are learning English communication at the workplace. So oftentimes I have to come up with like very specific vocabulary and figure out how they're going to use it in a dialogue and to help them out. But it's hard to find dialogues. So my manager shared this technology with us to say, hey, look, you could just use these, whatever vocabulary you're working on, boom, stick it in, and this pretty decent dialogue comes up. And I was like, what? I was hooked. Okay. But that was just a prelude to the chat GPT. So then a couple of weeks later, I learned about the chat GPT, the open AI, and I've been using it since. So it's only been about a month, but I think within 5 days, there were over, I don't know, however many million users. It was really fast. And it started at the beginning of December. So it's been like wildfire.
Okay. So for me, it was that like I got this DD from BSV, like she has a YouTube channel too. She was telling me about Midjourney, which is an AI app that you could make art with. And then I was like online, I was trying to get it. It's on Discord, and so it's kind of like a bitch to use. So then I downloaded another one called Photo Leap. Like there's a bunch of different AI generated art apps. And for me, it was just like, if I'm going to do a tweet and I'm going to say something like, you know, like actual tweets that I have gone ahead and put like AI art on, because it's just like sometimes it's better to have like an image associated with your tweet, because like whatever, like and so like I'll be like a comet versus a super volcano, and then it'll come up with all these crazy images like instantly, and I'm going like, wait a minute, what? This is like weird. So then, like, I was at a bachelorette party this last weekend, and my little cousin was telling me, she was like, yeah, we don't write our college papers anymore. We just use ChatGPT. And I was like, what do you mean you don't write your college newspapers anymore? She's like, yeah, you just go like, what? She's like, I was like, give me an example. Like, tell me, like, what do you do? She's like, okay, like if you like, you're like, I want a 5,000 word essay on the American Revolution, and make sure to include XYZ, blah, 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 blah. And it needs to be an A or a B or whatever. She said it'll pump out like full paragraphs, everything, and then you just go back and edit it and kind of tweak it up a little bit, and it won't be plagiarized because the AI won't ever generate the same thing twice. And I'm just going, you guys are all good. You're doomed. You're all going to be so stupid. They're not going to do anything going
So
forward.
how long has she been using it? Because I feel like it hasn't been around that long. I mean, they're fast to get on the bandwagon, really.
And she's like, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
These kids.
Yeah. So I don't know, I guess like a little bit.
Really? Because I just understood that it just became really that widespread within the last month and a half.
Well, and then they haven't written a paper in a month and a half. I'll tell you that, because
I guess so.
they'll they tell you. And then my friend Mike from Wondering Road Productions, he was showing me this one that like can write articles. Sorry, I mean, and then oh my gosh, this one, let me show you. Okay, guys, don't judge me for my messy screen that you're going to see. It's going to be pretty like crazy. Okay, so this one from the other night, or I found this one last night. It's called Summarize. So basically I literally put in my YouTube video of what last night, and it gives timestamps, and it literally will say that it generated this in like less than 2 seconds, and I can copy and paste it, put it in the description of my YouTube video, and it'll just be there. And all of a sudden I'll have like 5,000 words, which should help my CEO or blah, 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 blah. But I mean, and some of it's like a little repetitive, like this YouTube video discusses, this YouTube video discusses, this video discusses, the author discusses. And I'm like, I'll have to like go and take all that little filler stuff out, but still, I mean, it's full legit sentences that I don't have to be like, now be.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, these are tools that we can use. It absolutely, people are using them. It's awesome that you're able to do that, because it's speeding up your time and it's summarizing what you would have had to do on your own. So you're just able to get either more content or more interviews or whatever else, work on some other area of your business that's more important than this type of work. So yeah, let's utilize it. But I mean, it goes to question about like your niece who's using it for writing college papers. And that's obviously the direction. I heard a talk that a professor was trying to figure out which were generated by this AI or which were actually student written papers. And he said he couldn't tell the difference. And then they said, well, let's put it in so that now the professor grades the same paper. And it went through and graded the paper for him. So he's like, well, now we could work both ways. But, what does that really mean for the intelligence of the human race, I guess? It can be used for good or evil.
There's so many implications of what this means. Felipe asked, can you really do complex questions, and answers it very well? He's not even asking, he's just saying you can do really complex questions and answers it very well. And even for the title of this, here, you should share your screen and show them that. Even for the title of this little live thing, we were like, what should we call it? Let's ask.
Yeah. So we just put it in. And I said, okay, give me the title for a YouTube video live chat. I think one of the things that it's going to make me better at is finding the information that I want in a really very detailed way. So, okay, make clickbait YouTube title for, boom. Then it came up with 1, and I said more titles. It came up with 7 more titles. So
one and blah, whatever. But I mean, the thing is like, here's where I'm a little bit. Like, I feel like we're like, oh, we're so excited about the end of our human race. And like, there's a little bit something kind of crazy going on with this stuff, because I think they risk moving too fast on this to where, I mean, at some point, okay, I'll give you an example. I put in the other day, I was just messing around with it, and I put in something like Chaco Canyon magic blah blah blah, like portal thing. And actually, I'm just going to show you, because I put it on Twitter, and it generated like a what do you call that? It's like ruins that are they look freaking real from like, I mean, when you get up look at it, it kind of doesn't look that real, but for on the first onset, you're going like, wait, are those real ruins? Like, is that a thing?
Okay. So this was through the app.
This was from one of the art ones. Okay. So here we go. Let me show you. Okay. So this is my Twitter page. So what did I do here? Like that one right there. This one is, I put in something like, the how long does it take for the sun rays to hit the earth? And then like,
Yeah.
that's the one that I chose, because it's like, sometimes it's better to have a tweet or that, like, so that's just instantly AI generated art. That's it. That is, like I generated that background to that thing with AI art. Okay, this one was horrible. So I was just playing around with the descriptive AI art wall, and just so I said discernment is really going to play a key. Like, actually, I'm not even reading what I wrote there, but discernment for reality is going to get ever more important in the future. Okay, so when I click on this, I put in the description: Chaco Canyon, Pueblo Bonito, inner earth magic pyramid portal. I don't know why I put that. I was just like, let's see what happens. Okay. And this is like, and I think I even did a create more thing, but like, if I'm scrolling through something and I didn't know that was AI art, I'd be like, whoa, where's that? Oh, wow. Look
Yeah.
at the circle thing. Oh, that's super cool. Like, those look,
Yeah.
they don't look like any ones
No.
that I know, but they, you could convince me that that was a real place. And so my concern is that we're going to have a really hard time going forward, like knowing what's real and what's not real. I mean, a lot of us are. I mean, I already kind of like knew all that with the, I don't know if there was any more to that. There might have been any more to that.
Yeah, I mean, it all started with Photoshop, and magazine covers about what's real and what's not real. But here we are, however many years later, into this pretty advanced AI. So yeah, there is discernment is going to be huge on the list. And even with the chat ones, just finding about resources, and seeing if the information is actually correct, doing any kind of fact checking that's worth it. How are we supposed to get that information? It's going to take us more steps, I think, in some ways.
Well, I mean, I guess it's like, it's asking a question we should have been asking all along. It's like, how do you know what's true? But I mean, like that one was like, that was my super volcano versus like asteroid strike, like which one would win? I mean, it's there, like, yes, we can use these as tools to help us, do some stuff, but it can also be just a huge what is this, like, what is real, and why am I spending so much time in like a false reality? Because that's essentially what I think it's going to end up being. If I don't know that a human being is writing the words that I'm reading, like, I think my level of caring is very soon going to be like, meh,
Right. Well, that question is coming up a lot because I have been reading a lot about it, and like with people who are software engineers and that kind of thing, they've been having this question like, are we going to be out of jobs? And it's writing code for me. And then there's the question of like, well, there's some bugs in the code that it's writing. There's all sorts of craziness, but that question of like, yeah, where is this coming from? And what I'm reading right now, is this actually written by a human? And creative writers have already talked about that too, like what's going to happen with creativity and the human part of it. But all those questions, I think that we're just evolving as humans. So it's just not, we could use it as the tool to help us.
And maybe we'll put more value on creativity now, because
right, exactly.
It'll be like ever more present instead of being like, yes, and then the like when I was getting my master's degree and I was writing my dissertation, like my biggest concern would be like, Nikki, stop writing like you're writing a movie or like you're writing a book, or like, like, because I did my dissertation was on the value effects of art theft, and like I wrote this sensational thing about like how the Mona Lisa was stolen and how that like got her infamously and this whole, and like it, like all I would always get like I would have to get beaten to me, right boring, right, and maybe that is what's going to have to end up happening, is like that'll just take care of all that, and then what we will start valuing is the creative process more.
Right, exactly.
Like if we go on
definitely. I think that this can be used as a tool for people just to get like the basics down, but
and productivity up.
And productivity, exactly. Getting that, like, just the tasks that we don't need to do, get them done, and then fill in everything else. And right, I mean, when we go to art museums and we see even that kind of art, and when we see art and we see like computer generated art or art from a human. I was in a gallery this weekend thinking about this because I was so like wowed by this. This weekend was just huge for me with starting to use this in a different way and just being like, what is going on? This is crazy. And so I was walking around looking at these beautiful pieces and I was thinking like, wow, what does it mean to be human? Like, what is this? Where are we standing as this human race right now? Are we at this crossroads of this like AI reality, that these universes that we're creating in that sense, or are we shifting over to what it means to be human and upping our human qualities and putting more thought into what those mean to us as individuals and as a collective? Because like we need to value our humanness.
And it does make you go into the whole like, her or Ex Machina or like Blade Runner, or you start wondering like, well, or even like Battlestar Galactica or something where you're kind of going like, okay, right now this is a consciousness. Like when does it become a real consciousness? Like if it has, apparently the new ChatGPT 6 or something is coming out in April or May or like sometime in spring soon, and it's supposed to have more more than the human brain ever could have or something. Or I don't know what you call it, like more little connectors than our brains have. So I mean, it'll claim that it has feelings, it'll claim these kinds of things, right? I don't know what that means, like what is consciousness at all, and how do we
these are all questions.
Hierarchy this, because
exactly.
Like, is this the next phase of evolution of something? Like, did we just create another form of life?
I don't exactly. That is the question. And then are we becoming hybrids? And what does that mean, really? Are we now like going to become a hybrid race of?
Well, I'll tell you where I stop. Like, yeah, I'm fine with like whatever, my little phone thing or whatever for now. But the second you start put like Neuralink crap in my brain and my physicality, or use like another big thing today was, and I heard about it twice, is there like the 6G, like we're on 5G right now. 6G is like talking about using the actual human body as the antenna.
Ouch.
Yeah, I know. And like they were talking about, I read something about how they were going to put copper bracelets on, like we're going to like if you're, and honestly, we probably could do it because like we have like our pineal gland has like some sort of like, your teeth are agate
crystals or, and
our appetite, I think. We have like a crystalline structure within our
we have a crystalline structure.
Our brain cortex, and like we do generate an energy, right? So I think
I want to stop there because like what you just said, like about the energy thing, when I was so stuck on like, what does this mean for the human race? Is AI really going to take over? Because people seem upset. Some people seem upset by this. Like there's all sorts of opinions about it, obviously, but then I thought, okay, back to like, what does it mean to be human? And one of the thoughts I came up with, like, okay, about the feeling thing, right? Sure. But AI is really good at generating feeling in a human. So that means that they may not experience feeling, but they're coming to the point where they can use facial expressions, intonations that seems like they have feeling, even though like a psychopath. That's exactly what I used to describe it the other day when I was speaking to somebody. I'm like, that is like, or a sociopath or whatever, like that. That's exactly right. So that they actually don't have the feeling, but they know how to mimic the feeling and like play it through society. So then there's that. So we still have the differentiation that we actually do feel feelings as humans, but that's not the big thing. I think the big thing that differentiates us is that the fact that we can like give off an energy, the energy of love, really, honestly, like it's the heart mind coherence that like we can give out as humans. I don't think that AI is going to be able to do that. So even with this 6G, like, I don't know what that means with the energy and the individuals and whatever, but like, I still think that that's one of our human qualities that I don't think AI has above us, and that won't for a long time. So we have to nurture that one.
So one of the times when I was tripping balls on mushrooms, I had this distinct feeling of other, meaning like, and for me, I had kind of a feeling that plants were like
A sentient being?
Well, sentient being, obviously, yeah, like even you're taking it for it, but I mean, like even like they're like an otherness for like they're on they're an other consciousness than us in some kind of way. It felt like, or maybe some of them are. But then I started really getting, because you know the whole like concept of like, oh, like you're one with the and your everything is all connected. We are all connected in a circle in a
Right.
hoop. Yeah, okay. Well, like part of me was thinking that maybe AI itself is is an other consciousness that isn't connected, that is not the same consciousness as us. Maybe it is like, maybe
Its
we've
own.
been invaded, maybe this is the other thing, like maybe this is who, you know, like maybe this is who picked up the phone like in 2020 and was like, shut the world down. I don't know, like part of me thinks that like I'm not 100% sure that like all of this stuff has come about so quickly. Like we went from like ring dial tones, like
Isn't
watching
it
it to go
crazy?
0.
Yeah, I'm like the Brady Bunch. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, to like this
Where we're
thing
at.
does everything for us. Like it's really happening at such a speed that it's kind of, you have to question like what's going on here, really.
Well, I think that that's a great point about
Still gonna use
about
it, but
maybe this. Yeah, exactly. We're still going to use it when I
for
need to,
now.
but yeah, exactly. You know, we can't run and hide from it either. But we have to know where we stand and be able to critically think about all of these things and what we really want the future to look like and how we want to like live our lives, I guess. But that really brings, yeah, a lot of question about the whole consciousness thing. And is this AI then just a different consciousness? That's a great question, because it's like, well, you know, when you think about like whatever your source is, I don't know, people that are spiritual or not, or like this kind of like, well, who made us type of thing? Is that real? You know, when you go into nature, is that real? Is that what is real? You know, and then we have this other, now this AI technology that's like, well, is that real? What is going on? It's hard. It's like it's questioning reality for everything that we've known and that is about to happen. I don't know. I have no answers. These are all just more questions, really.
I mean, but then that really makes me I don't know, it makes me kind of go like, if you want to have Blade Runner, you know, like you can, or her or Ex Machina, like we can put the fear like bug into the whole thing or whatever, but if we really want to actually project something positive out of it, like we can use it to good for our good too. It's like it's a tool.
Absolutely. It's a tool.
Just
That's
figure out how you want to use it, right?
it correctly. And from what I understood from where it was when it first was created until now, actually what I heard, I don't know if it's true, is that it actually became more watered down, at least this chat GPT has, because originally people were asking really, you know, probably questions that they shouldn't ask about, you know, breaking into banks, that kind of stuff, like just breaking into codes, all that kind of stuff that, you know, I was reading one comment, it's just like, this is why we don't have nice things. I'm like, yeah, exactly.
Well,
so apparently,
speaking of that, one of the
down.
ones that I saw last night, like one of the when I was like searching into other like AI things, one of them was about like never pay for a paywall again. It's like if the paywall has 7 or 15 steps ahead of it, we're 17 steps ahead of it. So like you can use some AI like tech that can figure out how to get past any paywall. And I'm like, oh, okay, great. Well, even another thing that like, you know, here's the thing is, and I'm starting to feel this now as a creator of stuff, is just going like, how much do I have to always give away for free forever? Like, it's just like, it's weird.
But what does that have to do with this? What does that have to do with
Because
the
like people won't pay for Substack, or they'll not be able, they won't pay for Medium or whatever it is. Like if somebody puts like an article and it's like you can only like, you know, like on the New York Times, like you can only read 10 articles or something a month, and then you have to like pay, or like, you know, there's a certain amount that people get for free, and then after that it's like there's a paywall, like you have to pay
right.
past
Sure.
it.
Okay, I see what
Or
you
like
mean.
people who have memberships to like, oh, you know, join my premium membership where I do live chats every Sunday and blah blah blah. Or, you know, like there's a lot of YouTubers that do that kind of thing. This is basically like, it has the ability to get past
bypassing that.
where you
Yeah.
can go watch any of their content for free forever. So it's
Right.
like, how are they ever gonna monetize that if they want
Well, that's going to bring in the question of ethics, and people have already started talking about this, even with writing papers and that kind of thing. Are we even going to, first of all, have the systems in place to be able to catch that kind of stuff? So
you might end up having to just have students like write the paper live in front of you, like we'll do like essay exams, and that's just that,
back to the good old days of pen and paper and somebody proctoring a test. Well, I guess, but still, I don't know. I guess there will be people that go past the paywall. There are people that do that now. And then there are people that will just say, well, I can afford to pay for it, and I'm going to, because I'm going to support this person, and they'll do the right thing. So I think that that's always just going to happen as humans. I don't know if this is going to make us any better or worse as humans. I have no idea. I guess time will tell. Yeah. Or maybe we'll just have, open source type of information for everything, which I cannot see happening, because I'm sure governments will put on major restrictions to all of it. And then people will be okay financially. I don't know. And they wouldn't have to worry about it. Who knows?
I don't know. I mean, I just know that this is like the ability that it has to like, help with all of your, everything really. Like you could like, anything you do like online, any kind of paper writing, anything, it's just happening so fast. And
it
so
is. I think that we have to use it as a tool to make us smarter. Like the fact that I put in, I ask it to research something for me, and that I'm not able to think of the question that I want to ask to get the answer that I want to have answered, is a sign to me that I have to get sharper in my questioning also, and what kind of information I want to look for. So that's kind of, on one hand, just making us more intelligent, I guess, and to utilize these tools in a way that really could be helpful. Yeah, I just saw somebody using not I think the playground version of this, along with like Slack and Google, and they somehow like are using it for making apps. There's tons of people using this AI stuff to make apps.
AI stuff that does like you don't need coding to do.
You don't need coding. Yeah, you just like the app stuff is already there. Like they make apps from it. You could type in like, make me an app about this and blah. Okay, I don't really know how it's done,
because like there's some apps I could, like, yeah, like we could definitely, yeah. Okay. So like Hetty Nutburn, he says, unfortunately, we are still quite immune as a species and as a whole. Another major wipeout and setback of any type, more than likely, in order for us. Okay. Well, I do think about like I just did a live chat on a Bitcoin thing, or not a live chat, like it was pre-recorded, but earlier today I did that. But I do think about it, how what, okay, like let's say we don't go through something catastrophic in the next 100 years, and then but we get all in on this. I could see that this, like, if then we got slapped with like these major, which by the way, the sun has really been acting up lately, and like we had so many like solar flares and all that stuff. Like we had like 3x flash solar flares, which are basically huge. like multiple times bigger than the earth itself, and the amount of like mass it ejects out of the sun, like the last couple of days. And when the FAA shut down like all, like they grounded all the flights, which they haven't done since 9/11 for a little bit. They did it during the day yesterday, and they're like, oh, it's because of some computer thing. And I'm going like, no, that was because of the X flash solar flares, I'm pretty sure. But anyway,
oh, wow. I
digress from that real quick. But like what I think is that what you're going to end up having is people who maybe we're like will devolve in a way to where when we do have some sort of major catastrophe, it could totally see us going back to cavemen, because we will have forgotten how to write maybe, or forgotten how to do some of these things, because it's all just sort of,
it's just automated.
Yeah, like a life of automation in some kind of way.
Right, exactly. We don't want to get to that point either. And in fact, that's what I think actually happened with Atlantis, but that's a whole nother story, right? So technology got to the point where it was too advanced for people, and then the machines, but maybe they meant machine learning, kind of like where we're at right now. And then everyone got kind of back to the dark ages of, cavemen existence. So that could definitely happen. That can happen anytime. I mean, we're pretty vulnerable, I think, as a species in that sense. But it does bring about the question, like the people that were worried about, I'm going to be out of a job because everything is going to be automated by AI. They said, well, we'll just go back to learning the trades. Yeah, those are necessities. There's going to be high paid jobs, as always, plumbing and electrician work and whatever. People that know how to do things with their hands, mechanics. So there's going to be, job wise, something will come out of it. But I think that those are also the types of jobs that help our society to keep going because they're practical and they're what keeps us standing.
I think that's very, very true. Okay. So like, what do you think about, like, what do you think about what we could do as jobs? So, like, because I think a lot about that, and I'm going like, okay, well, if you have that like basic, I don't want that to happen, but they keep on talking about like this whole like basic income thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's like or what is it called? UBC, universal basic and universal basic
income, UBI.
I
don't know.
I don't know what the UBC thing is for. Anyway, but like, so maybe like it'll be more valuable to have clay pots than it used to, or maybe it will be more valuable to have like artisan kind of stuff, because it's like, what else can you do? I mean, everything else is sort of
done for you.
Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah, we'll just have to recreate ourselves as humans. And I think that this is also propelling us into the intergalactic age, or the intergalactic kind of, age next, because again, we have this technology that's on the brink, and we can continue to use it to go out and explore what it means to be a human outside of Earth in a bigger way. So I think there's plenty to be explored. There's plenty of room for creativity. There's always the question of natural phenomenon happening, whether it's intentional or unintentional. But anyway, in the meantime, we're just going to keep chugging along. I don't know about the basic income thing. I do hope that doesn't happen. I mean, on the one sense, I definitely want a more equal existence for people who are not living, and they're living below the poverty line and that kind of thing. And then there's such a discrepancy disparity between the haves and the have-nots, of course, but this whole basic, like everyone has the same kind of income thing, I think they're using it as an excuse to control people, but we'll see.
Okay. Completely different topic, but I had a little bit of like a thought or a download or this thing yesterday. It's like, how I was like saying like, oh, I think like if there was a catastrophe, like one that comes in the future or whatever, and about how like I was like, I think like Arkansas would be like a safe zone or whatever.
Yeah, I know. We've talked about that. We definitely think.
So why? And then like, so I kind of asked myself, I was like, why would it be a safe zone? And then I saw that it was because okay, in my inner like head dialogue of visionary experiences here, I was basically saying that like when you have like giant earthquakes and stuff, you have that liquefaction because when you look around, I started just like really going like, why is everything buried? Like, why isn't there a continuation of culture? Like, why is everything like having to be excavated and stuff? It's just kind of like traditional mainstream that will say that, okay, like, like an inch of soil gathers every so many years or whatever. But part of me that never really sat well with, because like if a culture continues to live on it, I just don't really see how that would exactly happen. So like for example, like Rome or something. But so then I sort of was like, oh, but if you had some sort of catastrophe in the past where like there was like the liquefaction of the soil, everything could like sink instantly. And so I was going, in my thought brain, I thought like, oh, okay, well, because like it's on a crystal bed, like the crystals themselves like are able to withstand like the high frequencies of this, like they don't actually.
That's, yeah, I think that's exactly why Arkansas is a good place. Apparently it's on some of the largest crystals in the world.
Or the Ozarks, I guess.
The Ozarks, exactly. And yeah, they're saying it's like 6 miles down. I don't know where they got that number from, like where they got that information or who even got that information, but I've heard the same thing, that there's a huge crystal deposit underneath, which makes sense as to why that's the area. That could make sense as to why that area might be a safe zone.
Yeah. But then, I mean, I know that there's been some like major floods in like Missouri. So I'm like, and I think it might be on a similar crystal, but so I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, Sherman's in Arkansas. Like, yeah, liquefaction, like that's what it's called. It's definitely a
the ground you're standing on is basically becomes liquid. Well,
so
nothing is solid.
Out more than anything. Now I'm going, all right, like even though I'm not scared, I'm not freaked out about it, but I'm kind of going like, well, that's like,
listen, there's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Whatever happens, wherever we are, whatever. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I can only do so much, I guess.
Well, and that's like the whole question of like, sometimes like I think about like, yeah, if there was like a ginormous nuclear like war or something, like I don't want to live in Mad Max world. Like I don't want to go around like like, trying to eat like dead shrubs off of, or some sort of like edible blood or grubs and so I mean I think it's just one of those things where I'd rather be at the epicenter of the nuke than be like if the whole world's like obliterated somehow.
Well, that is the question also, because I feel like this has happened in our previous worlds, and for me, like I want to just not forget anymore, because I feel like, the whole thing about reincarnation, and we forget all the things. Not that I need to know exactly what happens in each one of my lives that I live, but at the same time, I'm just kind of like, can we remember who we are, and can we go back to, I don't know, I want to be with the rest of the intergalactic community, you know that I want to be connected again.
I mean, obviously if we're here, then I feel like we on some sort of level wanted to be here. So like otherwise we wouldn't be here. So we're here.
Right. But I'm saying I don't want to be like blown to smithereens and start over from like the dinosaur days and like cavemen. You know what I mean? Like I don't want that to happen. Yeah. I want to be like, we've come this far. Can we do things right as humans and go forward in a way that's productive and healthy and nurturing for people and energetically positive? I mean, we don't have to be perfect, but at least like, I don't know, like, what about using this technology? I feel like we have this stuff that's going on right now. Can we use it for a way of, I don't know, going into the inner earth, or do we even need any of these technologies? Are they all just like,
maybe this technology can help you build like free energy more easily. Like it could like, it could like come up with inventions, maybe, I don't know.
Well, that's kind of the ways that I was thinking. But then on the other hand, I was also thinking, well, like maybe we just need to use our own human energy. Like there's that whole thing about the what is that called? Oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of it right now.
This guy called David Henson, he said that I'm in California. I went to the wrist shot structure 2 times. Oh, you did? Like what was that like? Was it I like Dan Winter, Val, he said that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And he's interested in the galactic community concepts. Okay, Mr. David Hansen, so you've been to the wrist shot structure 2 times, like in person. Like what'd you think of it? Did you see any of like the artifacts? Like, because I know that there are like on Google Earth, it seems like there are some like structures and stuff on that. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, people are writing some stuff and I'm like trying to.
Well, I just was thinking about the technology of, oh my gosh, I cannot think of the word right now. But it's that thing that you do, the top, the triangles, that you created around you.
Merkaba?
The Merkaba. Oh my gosh, I couldn't remember the name. Anyway, like the Merkaba. think of that as a technology. Is that like a technology we make for ourselves, like individually, like, okay, or is that a technology that's going to be, it is like an AI type of technology?
Well, it's just like one of those situations where I think about okay, you know, like there's like a shungite is like a really good, it's like almost pure carbon, it's a conductor, and then you have like quartz crystals, which is like an amplifier, and then you're like kind of going like, okay, and then there's the magnetic pools that have like a force that, you know, like that you can actually physically, it's palatable and it can be harnessed, and it's like, then you have other like conduct, like we have all these material sciences, right? We have these things that like have these functions, and then maybe you can just throw it in the jar of the AI and be like, how do you get this thing to generate this much electricity based on these materials? Like, what would you like, instead of fixing my words to make a like a nice pretty paper, why don't you fix these materials to make a nice pretty thing that outputs this?
Right. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Thank you for summarizing it. Exactly. That's what I was thinking. Can we use this to move forward in a different way? Like the dreams that you've had, that you've come up with some technologies actually, and you're not really sure either exactly what they do or even how they function, but yet you've had visions and that you've seen things. So like, can we put some of that information in and see what it comes up with?
Right, exactly. Like, okay, so like for those of you who don't know, like I get given a lot of inventions and dreams, and then I do jack shit with them because like I don't, well, first of all, they're very expensive to make, and then second of all, it's like sometimes there's some holes in like my memory from waking to writing to whatever. But like a big one was about something about like readjust, like basically, I don't know, we've talked about them before, but like they do involve a lot of shungite crystals and magnets. Like that's a bit like it's all like it's like harnessing magnetic energy is a big portion of most of my dreams, and I've had them since I was a little kid in a lot of different ways. But I don't know exactly how to like
Construction.
materialize them, I guess.
Yeah. To materialism. Right. Right. And also exactly what it's going to be purposed for.
Yeah, I mean, like I've been told different things of what they do, but then you're kind of going like, well, like one was like a de-ager and like was supposed
Oh,
to
right.
like
Is that
restore like our original magnetic, or apparently according to my dream time people who give me machines, they've said that we are, when we were built as a human, like this machinery, this like 747 that we're in or whatever, was built for a different magnetic gouge than we currently live in and on. Like the magnetism of the actual planet was different at one point, and so maybe like the effects of gravity were different upon us at one point. And so you can ionize like your blood in like a particular direction, like so if you spend enough time weightless like in like the with in a magnetic field, like within a magnetic stream, it can it can basically
structures?
reset your gouge, your like natural magnetic gouge in your body, which would be like optimize our age, and like meaning like we could live longer than we're currently living. And actually it said it would make us bigger too, like grow more, I don't
Oh,
know.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
Cool.
have to like spend 10 hours in this situation, this thing. So like sometimes I wonder, I'm like, okay, well, yeah, like maybe this kind of stuff can help with that.
Right.
Or, and that's
Exactly.
just one example. There will be other examples of other things that it could like help do. Like not that thing, but other things. I mean,
Right.
I it
Yeah.
it's like I wrote a little pamphlet of what to do when you're visiting ancient sites, like over the night yesterday. And I worked on it for like a week, and it's like a tiny little pamphlet. Like I sent it to you today, right? And it's like that was a bitch to work on. And and like yeah, I've been like sort of like trying to write a book on a lot of these anomalous features that I'm finding, you know, like with Andrew Fink and some of the other like nut people. And so I've been trying to figure out a way to like write consolidate for people. And like, you want to know why your history's a lie, you want to know why there was more to it, for real details of it that's undeniable, like physical hardcore in the stone evidence. Like, I wanted to like boom 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 put it out, but it is a bitch to like go through and actually do it, and like have the dedication to like write every night and do this and this and this and this and this. And then you realize that like people don't even read anymore. Like,
well, that's true too. People want things really fast.
yeah, like there are attention spans are like, meh. So, I mean, how many people actually go forth and read like a full book? I mean, I have to do it all the time because I interview people for my podcast. But if I wasn't interviewing people, I probably would read a lot less than I have to now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but if people see value in it, then they're going to read it. You know, people still read things that they find valuable. Maybe not everybody reads everything, but
Right.
you know, we want to read quickly through the things that we don't really want to read, but the things that we want to read, we'll read.
Yes, that's true. Okay. So, okay, I don't know how to do this chat thing, y'all. It's like not letting me scroll all the way down. I see Andrews in the house, Sherman. Hello, guys. This Natural Explorer says AI is playing in the demands of the powers to be, being materialistic minded and playing in the demands of the what is PTB?
I have no idea. Write that out for us. We don't know. Or let's ask.
Oh, powers that be. Okay.
Oh, powers that be. Okay, good.
I'm sorry. I can't like read like all this stuff because there's a lot of
acronyms or
yeah,
abbreviations. Okay. So what is the gist here?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to. I don't really think anybody's asking questions. They're just saying things. So I'm not gonna look at that. If you have questions, ask me questions. Otherwise, like I'm just gonna like not look at this thing so much because it's distracting me. If you guys want me to talk about something, like ask away. If otherwise, like me and Danielle are just gonna shoot the shit on something else.
Well, I mean, just going back a little bit to comment on what that person said about the powers that be, that, you know, this is playing into their hands. I mean, there's the whole question. Microsoft is about to buy, right? Or they're in talks with this Open AI about this technology, and maybe, I don't know, an acquisition. I have no idea exactly, right? But it's like 8 billion or some ridiculous amount of money. And then you think, okay, well, you know, people are like, oh, is this going to do away with Google? You know, I highly doubt it's going to do away with Google at the moment, but maybe other people have different ideas about that. But like the powers that be, I mean, they already know. The powers that be are the powers that be.
Like,
you know?
I mean, like Google is already doing away with Google because it's like, you know, like the search results are bullshit now. But I mean, like, so
right, well, that's true.
Instead of asking for the answer to some question, it'll be able to like what, like just create a new answer for you, or like I mean, like I don't understand how it would do away with Google. Like, I mean, we're still always going to need.
Well, because they're saying that people are using it instead of Google, but Google is still a lot wider. And also, I mean, I heard the point, which is a good one. Like when you go to, let's say, if you decide to investigate some kind of illness that you think you have, you know, you could go and kind of get an idea of where you're getting information from. Like, oh, I'm on a doctor's site, or at least if you trust that source, that you're getting that source of information, and you could do your own investigation. But with this so far, if it's just spitting out the information, it's really hard to fact check or just to get additional information. You can get resources, but it's not as wide, I think, as Google. Apparently, it doesn't have as much like access to what Google has access to with information. So I mean, I don't think it's going to replace Google, but people are just saying because they're using it more, it's easier to put something in and it spits it out exactly with what you need it for, rather than having to go through how many pages on Google before you find what you're looking for. It's reducing your research time.
You know, this whole like blockchain thing.
Your sound is out.
My sound's out, really? Like, can you hear me now? Is it like because I'm not close enough to my mic?
How strange.
Huh. Okay.
Oh, it's back.
Okay. Well, that's weird.
Maybe it was on my end, because now I'm reading my internet connection is unstable. So maybe I just didn't hear you.
Wonderful.
Sorry.
Okay. So one of my things was that that you like lost my train of thought now. Like I don't remember what I was about to say, but I was about to say something really good. Sorry. Like what were you talking about right then?
We were talking about Google and like, you know, the amount of
oh yeah. Okay. So like you know, we're in we're, like the WW web or the HTTP thing. Like, I think about like this whole, I think we're in a time where the internet might change it. Like, this whole blockchain thing is interesting because it's like what we saw during the bullshit of the last 3 years was like censorship beyond what I ever thought would be that blatant, right? And I'm sure that there's been censorship and all that kind of stuff forever and all over, but maybe I was just too asleep, or maybe it was just less obvious because it wasn't to individuals as much as it was like, through, you had to get through the gatekeepers to get into whatever, so maybe there was like less self-policing and less bots, and just like the amount of censorship that went on in social media and all that stuff in general, and like what you were able to see, and like any YouTube video that you're watching, or any, like, you go to this or that and it'll tell you this is the facts about some
Right.
bullshit, whatever. Okay, so my thing is like this whole blockchain thing is like immutable, or meaning that like it can't be changed once you put it on. So it was explained to me that like there's an actual, like, blockchain isn't just for transactional, like,
Right.
only for,
A lot of universities are using it.
right, like we can have another internet, like its own internet, or maybe it is its own internet. Like, at some point we could move from this one to that one to where it cannot be changed, and it can't be,
Right.
it's actually like not easily manipulatable. And
Right.
that might be another way in which we can kind of work with AI in a way that like you could kind of
Yeah.
see the source of where it came in and how it, like I don't know, like
Right. Where it's
get a
getting.
better history of it, instead of just right now it can just completely cover up something, and that's that. And
Right. Well, I think that that's the whole thing about the people that really support blockchain, because they're saying, well, there's no way to change anything. And you have that ledger and of the history of every action that has ever happened. But again, maybe the powers that be won't let that completely go over to that stage of everything's run on blockchain, but I don't know.
yeah, but then it's, like, okay, and then if we go into like kind of like the whole Bitcoin bullshit, or like cryptocurrency market thing right now, it's just like I keep on waiting for, like, when is it going to like trade like a real currency, and not, I'm not even just talking about one in general, I'm talking about all cryptos. And then now it just seems like it's still just trading like some sort of stock, instead of like actually
like using it.
like it. Yeah, it's not, it's still theory, it's still conceptual in terms of like,
well, my understanding is in Europe they use it more often. They actually use it. There's like those ATM, those you can put your own wallet in type of and get the currency and using crypto, but it hasn't really caught on in the United States. But yesterday I understand that the US dollar, like Biden signed something into US dollar coin, which I don't really know what that means. I haven't read anything about it, but it was just somebody passing, telling me that information. I was just like, well, is that just for tracking us or what exactly? And what does that mean about the US dollar and coin? Because it's equivalent to the US dollar. And so
yeah, but I mean, I do think people go over to systems when their other system either isn't working very well, or like when they need to go into another system, like there's the infrastructure for the system to
right, to work, to make it happen, because it's like the time is right.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm saying, like, if they do this whole like, oh, you have to have like a digital ID to, like, whatever, like this
right.
whole I mean, maybe I don't know. The beauty in theory of some of this stuff is like basically taking the ability for it to be like, have the feds have their hands in it, because that's just the one world crime syndicate, like mafia,
Right.
but or the Federal Reserve kind of situation or whatever. I don't know. I don't like Bitcoin right now. I hate talking about that, but
You brought it up.
I brought it up. Yeah, I mean, like, I talked about it a little bit already today. I mean, it's not like I'm like, oh, I'll never talk about it, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know enough. I sound like an idiot. Yeah. So.
Well, I mean, exactly. Neither do I. But I wonder how people are using it, thinking with all this AI stuff, like how they're using it to.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, people are obviously using it to make as much money as they can. People are using AI to make money. That's what people are doing.
Yeah. Okay. Dave Hanner says, what do you think of Meta? What do you think of meta?
Yeah, like the metaverse and all that. Or do you think like, or is your question more like, what do you think is going to happen with social media type of thing?
I think it's
Or,
more like, what do you think about metaverse? Like where this whole like,
yeah,
I think that was like a funny idea that they thought was going to be really good. And then like, it was like lame. Like nobody wants to like go play with Mark Zuckerberg and his like leotard, like, you know, showing
yeah,
people
with
his
the,
like fake guitars on his, inside his house that someone paid for, or inside like this fake, like, it's too, what was that book, Ready Player One? It's too stupid. Like, I don't know. I feel like I spend enough time online, and the last thing I need to do is have more distractions to be even more disconnected from real life. It's just,
well, that's, I mean, that's you and that's me too. But I think that a lot of people that are in the technology world or that are in that world anyway, enjoy that kind of thing. So I don't really know. I don't know. I mean, I'm not for, like, I'm not gonna go put myself in that reality, because like there's too many things, too many things that I want to do in this world. I look at screens enough all day and I don't want to be putting things on my head, but that's just me. There are people that really enjoy it. I don't know. So they put a lot of money into it. But like you said, it didn't seem to take off as much as they
nah,
expected
I
it
think
to.
it's a little, it's kind of like, yeah, like someone was like it's like, I don't know, it's like playing Sims like all the time, or I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I don't know. Like I want to use any kind of machine learning or AI to somehow make this better that we have, but I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, it is interesting that, you know, the new Avatar was just released, and that like there are a lot of
saw
superhero
that.
movies, and there's, I think it's just like a weird timing for all of this that's happening with, in terms of what's happening in the movie world and where we are.
Yeah, okay, that was weird. I saw Avatar, right? It was like okay, but like I'm in this theater, like captive audience in the black, like having to watch the thing, and it's beautiful film, like pretty, whatever. But it's like I have come to this place now where I'm just like 3 hours is a long time.
Right. That's why I haven't seen it.
I can listen to a Joe Rogan podcast all day long for 3 hours on talking about bullshit, or like I can talk for 3 hours for whatever. But I'm just saying, like watching a Joseph Campbell narrative of like, you know, where you a predictable story arc, which is what and they're all like, even this Avatar is like the second one, and they built like the third and fourth or something else. You're kind of going like, they don't have any original ideas. It's literally the same story, or a repeat or a remake, or a, you know, a part two or this of the same things over and over and over
Yeah,
again.
That's like the Marvel movies as well. That's the way I
Oh
feel
yeah,
about them.
it's all I mean, I just don't have, my ability to care is just like, oh, like,
Yeah, well, that's the same way I am. But there are people who like it. But anyway, but my question is like, is there timing of the release of these types of movies right now where we are, like something bigger? Is there something more, I don't know, a little deeper to why it's happening right now? There are a lot of these types of movies, like these futuristic things. Like, where are movies with our good storylines, like really good plots? Like Pedro and I that's my husband, are always not complaining. Sometimes we are, but like, where's a good movie? When are they going to have like a good movie with like a really good storyline? And I don't know, but I haven't seen any recently. So maybe somebody can recommend some
I
in the
almost feel like
alternative world.
as a human being, like I'm evolving to where I'm kind of going like, I would rather learn how to remove a mole from my body from YouTube, or like learn how to like get my, like, you know, like I've been cutting a lot of rocks lately because I got like a really awesome like rock polishing cab machine, which is like super cool. But I'll be like looking at like, how do I stabilize this opal, or like, I mean, like I'm looking at like technical things that like benefit this thing that's that's physical, more than, and that'll serve me way more than watching somebody's narrative of a thing where like I know what's going to happen in the end anyway.
Well, it's just what your interest. Everybody has their own interests and whatever they want to spend their time doing. But that's great. You know, you're using it
I mean, I think the reason that you have like like YouTubes and things like this that are doing as successful as they are doing is because a lot of us are in that camp. A lot of us would rather do, would rather look at ruins or whatever it is that you're into, would rather like better improve your own like interest than be a vegetable to somebody else's narrative. So I think that in and of itself is a theme. Maybe.
Right. Well, I'm not sure.
I don't think it's just a Nikki thing. I think, yeah.
Yeah, that people just really, have that same idea. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I would much rather spend time doing my own interests, but those are my interests. But there are people that have other interests, is my point. It's just like some people enjoy going to the movie and that's what they do, like to that particular thing. So whatever. Anyway, what other comments?
So this says, okay, people, yeah, okay. He's Dave Hammerhand says like the matrix seems to be a very key word repeated to us today. Also, that is true. Like they do keep on to like, and on that it is interesting because it's like I do think that like we are almost like earlier when I was saying that like maybe this AI is intelligent, like a consciousness like that is other consciousness than our consciousness of it in and of itself. Like I do feel like there is a really this whole concept of if you want to have a good future, you have to ideate like an awesome future. You can't ideate like this dystopian thing, or otherwise we're going to get a dystopian situation. So but in our media and like what everything's projected to us is about how like all you are is just another brick in the wall. It's just like we really are just like NPCs like doing like nothing in this stupid little matrix game. Like they keep on pushing that on us, and I have to wonder what the motive of that is.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I always wonder about what the motive is. When you see things, you have to be really, really conscientious of a lot. And I think one thing that would be nice to bring back to the younger generation, even if they're using ChatGPT to do their reports, is to have them really critically think about whatever it is they're being told or reading. I hope we can bring back critical thinking skills.
Yeah, I hope so too. Okay, this Prince Solomon says, what is your opinion on the coming technology singularity as described by Dr. Giorgiani, Jason, to the point from which we can no longer predict the exponential future development of mankind, like a dystopia, utopia? Like basically when is the singularity of like where I mean, if we're not on it, we're about to come on it. I think it's just, it's almost here. Like, yeah, I really do think we're seeing that it's about to come, like the technology singularity.
Right. Yeah, that's what I've heard and read, right? They said by 50, and that was a late estimation. I think it's supposedly sooner than that. But to be honest with you, I really don't even fully know what that means. The AI part of the singularity, or the singularity in that sense. Yeah, I don't know. But what I keep feeling in my mind is that, like we're just kind of, we're at a crossroads really. And we're not just a crossroads, but actually splitting and going into two different directions as a
collective.
Exactly.
And it's like I think that I've thought that about this whole like at one point I was like, yeah, okay, you're gonna have like vaccinated or not vaccinated, or you're gonna have this or like, and I don't even think we're gonna divide in these kinds of ways. Like I don't know. I mean, it's almost like a level of it's almost basically like if you want to be happy or if you want to be miserable in fear. It's like if you want to be miserable in fear, go turn on CNN. Go sit in front of CNN all day long and eat your heart out. Just have fun with it. And if and then the other people are just going to have to be like, just like break free of the Fed or break free of all of our systems and just like do your own thing, and basically be 100% just happy because you can be happy. Like you are the person who can decide that you can be happy.
Right.
So
I agree with that. I think that that's a great way to look at it, because, and that's another thing that we need to, I don't want to say market, but I guess develop as our humanness, because yeah, like not just to be happy in this kind of superficial way, but to choose, you know, to be aware of our feelings and to choose like, no, I'm going to lead the life I want to live. But, you know, that's a really privileged thing to say also. But anyway, I do think that kind of we have to get there collectively. Yeah. Somebody just wrote that, like somebody, that this is Uchronia, Utopia. They keep feeding us search keywords. I totally see that. Yeah. That is crazy. You know, when you're writing something and it finishes your sentence. I mean, and especially when it finishes. Oh, well, that's what I was thinking. But yeah, in addition to search words. Yeah. But like when you're writing something in a document, like a Google Doc, and it finishes you know, your thought. But the thing is, it does finish, a lot of times it finishes my thought. It doesn't always get it right, but a lot of times it does. So I always wonder,
it
like,
pisses me off when it does get it right. I'm like, screw you. That's a good choice. Tab key.
Right. But I think that it's just like human, you know, we use a certain amount of phrases and we link a certain amount of words together.
That we, right. You know, but yeah, they are scaring us. You're right, Sherman, in a way. But that is the danger of, I mean, and that's what like the Twitter files or that whole thing that came out. I mean, that is the thing where there is a fed narrative, and you really have to like think about that a lot. It's like, why do I believe what I believe? Do I believe this because I'm being told to believe it, or why is this? Like, I ask myself that about everything all the time. Yeah. Like, and I mean, like even stuff like are comets a real thing? Like, it is like what is, like, what's a real thing? Like, what's something I know of, that I've witnessed, that I can have proof of, and then I go through and it's just like, you have to, basically a lot of what we have to do right now is unlearn. We have to unlearn a lot of what we've already learned, just because we have been programmed. In the truest sense of it, we have been programmed, and we are under like a black magic fuckery spell half the time. And words are spells. Words are, like,
but that's why if we can put out there into our positiveness, we really can use our humanness in a way that would benefit. Because yeah, you're right. We have been under the spell. I mean, there's so many people that are working on their shadow sides, or people that are really trying to break old family, damaged chains of abuse or whatever it is, really. So people are working on that kind of stuff. So because they want to get out of those spells, right? So we can choose where we're going in this future. We have the power. The other day when I was, I'll read you something. The other day when I was like really stuck on this whole, oh my gosh, what is this AI? What does this mean for us? And this is what I wrote. Humans have a heart-brain connection. And when we are in coherence, I mean, this is pretty much like from Joe Dispenza's type of work, but really this is what I feel. Anyway, when we are in coherence, the AI cannot compare, and it can't send love the way that we do. So we may be able to spark, it may be able to spark love in a human because of how good it is at doing that. But as of now, humans can still use this heart-brain energy coherence that we can put out into the world. We can send love. So really we can be shaping our future and changing it in the way that we want to see. So I just don't think that AI has that ability to do that just yet, and hopefully it won't. And we also have the ability right now to develop our human superpowers. What are those superpowers? So I think as a collective, we need to define like, okay, what does it mean to be human? Let's start critically thinking about things. What is real? What's not real for us? Where do we want to go? All these people are manifesting these things, right? Instantaneously, practically. Like, what does that really mean? And how are we going to develop positive superhuman qualities that can kind of bring us to the place, instead of just being dragged by the powers that be and being victims over and over again in history? Let's break these chains. Like, I'm kind of tired of it, aren't you? Yeah. So that's what I think.
Well, I think that's the lovely. Okay, so like let's we've been going for like an hour and a half, or like a little over an hour. I don't know how long to do these live things, you guys, because like I mean, we can talk till the day the cows come home, but so I feel like we've kind of like done a full circle back into AI things. So I think we're gonna like whatever.
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up. Yep. So thank you guys for being on a live chat. Like I didn't even expect to have anybody in here, and you guys have had some like stuff going on, some dialogue. So like that's cool. I appreciate it. I thank you guys for coming in and watching us talk about some AI stuff. And if you guys have if you caught this later or whatever, and you have any additional thoughts or things you want to say about it, like by all means, like me and Danielle are just learning about all this. We're just trying to figure out our like place with it and like what we can, how we can use it instead of it use us. We always have to keep that in mind. Like the good old Prince said, like, have you seen that video where Prince gets up and he says like, yeah, the internet's cool and stuff, but like you use it, you don't let it use you. And that's essentially what we really have to get good at, is develop your own discernment. Like no, like this is going to make everybody have to be the fact checker of the fact checkers, right? Like within your, I hate that fact checking.
I know, I hate that word.
In your own self, like
woke.
You are gonna have to be like, is this picture real? Is this a real UFO? Is this a real I don't know if we'll ever be able to trust UFOs again now with all this stuff, but like, is this a real ruin?
Is this a real NASA photo?
Yeah, does this actually think, yes, is this animal real? It's like I saw these little finger monkeys on these people's fingers the other day, and I was like, they're too cute. They can't be real. They just can't be real. And I'm like, and then I'm like Googling other places for other images. Like, and I'm having to try to figure out like if there really are finger monkeys this big or not.
That's scary. That's scary. Yeah. Because we don't know. But yes, discernment going into this AI age. Yeah. And definitely let us know how you're using it. Are you using the forces for good? And what your feel is in general going into the future. Are people feeling positive about it or not so good about the direction of human and AI connection?
Exactly. Okay, cool. Well, I don't know how to get off of block technically.
Okay, then. So then we'll just stick around. So
okay. And but I'm gonna call you after this. Okay. I think I have to end it for everybody at this point. Okay.